Welcome to Health, Wellbeing and Lifestyle, and for our first guest today we have Sean Connell, who's a lymphologist, and today he's talking about the lymphatic system. Welcome, Sean.
Thank you.
Can you explain a bit more about that? I'm sure it's very confusing for people in lymphatic.
Very confusing. So the lymphatic system is actually the purification system of the body. So it'll remove the dead cells, toxins, poisons out of the body. So we have the bloodstream that will bring the oxygen nutrition in, that feeds it to our cells. So we're made of up to 100 trillion cells. So if you're healthy, the cell is healthy. So the oxygen nutrition comes in from the bloodstream and the lymphatic system will take away all the dead cells, toxins and poisons. We have up to 200,000 kilometres of lymphatic vessels in the body. So that's actually around the world 3 times. So we have 3 times more lymphatics than we do have blood vessels. So everywhere we have blood vessels, we have the lymphatic system running side by side, but the lymphatic systems all go up between the cells, and that'll pull all the dead cells, toxins and poisons into the lymphatic system. Then it'll pump it through the lymph nodes. So we have up to 1,000 lymph nodes through the body. So they act like a water filter. So they are filtering the dead cells, toxins and poisons. If a lymph node swells up, it's just overloaded. It's just got too much toxins and poisons in there. So what that'll do is actually just pass it on to the next lymph node, purify as much as possible, pass it on to the next lymph node, and just keep sending those dead cells, toxins, poisons around our body through the lymph nodes until all those toxins are back to pure water. So when that's back to pure water, the lymphatic system will actually pump that water back into our bloodstream through the Sacravian vein at the base of the neck here, because our bloodstream is 91% water. And this is where the inflammation actually comes from. When we have inflammation in the body, it's come from the blood vessels and it's just built up too much too quickly that the lymphatic system can't remove that out. And you can hold up to 50 kilos of inflammation in the body. So most people have weight issues. It's mainly inflammation being held in the body.
So then why is it important to keep our lymphatic system flowing in that way?
Everyone is required to get 30 minutes of aerobic exercise every day just to keep the lymphatic system moving. Okay, so as we get older, obviously we're not as active, and that's when inflammation starts to build up, creating lack of oxygen, and that's when things start to break down because we're lacking the oxygen and nutrition getting to the cell.
Okay, and so to keep the walking up, and also to maybe to have various services, or I know there's some amazing new technologies around for helping with the lymphatic system, is that right?
That's right, yeah. The healing of the 21st century will be energy. So energy is one of the ways to activate the lymphatic system. So there's only 4 ways to activate the lymphatic system, and energy is one of those.
And what are the other 3 ways then?
Deep breathing, so that's the aerobic exercise every day. Deep breathing, bouncing, so that's why kids jump on the bed. I actually teach people how to use a mini trampoline as part of our sessions. So bouncing and stroking, so that's where energy, massage and those sorts of things come in as well.
And Sean, thank you so much for the information you've shared. What would be your best advice for our viewers as a takeaway today?
We are required to get 30 minutes of aerobic exercise every day. So there's 4 ways to activate our lymphatic system. So deep breathing, bouncing, stroking and energy. So activating all those 4 ways will keep us healthy and happy. There's a lot of technology out there now that can really activate the lymphatic system and get that moving and help remove that inflammation, because we all know inflammation is the cause of all problems happening in the body because it's creating lack of oxygen. So we need to increase that oxygen getting to the cells so the body can regenerate, heal and do what it's supposed to.
And so with those 4 ways that you're talking about, can you just give us a bit more detail of each one?
So deep breathing, there's a lot of shallow breathing out there unfortunately at the moment, so that's why exercise is so important, and going for walks and get that oxygen moving, which Oxygen, deep breathing activates the lymphatic system. Stroking, so we have massage, we have the dry brushing, we have those sort of techniques out there that help people. Bouncing, so that's why kids love bouncing on the bed, because they know it's good for them, and they love trampolines, and we actually educate people on how to use the mini trampoline and get the full benefits out of that. And there's energy as well, so there's so many energy techniques coming out that healing of the 21st century will be using energy.
Right. Is that with technologies, as you were saying before? That's using technology to trigger the energy, and how does it work?
Well, it activates the lymphatic system. We're actually an energy being, so when you break it down, we're more electrical than mechanical. So energy, we're electrical. So energy, frequencies, all those things will help the body.
Thanks so much for that, Sean. And I know we'll be talking about that more in some further interviews. For now, we'll say bye-bye to you. And for more information on Sean Connell and the lymphatic system, then please go to his webpage on our website, healthwellbeingandlifestyle.com.au, and we'll see you back after the break. Welcome back. And next we have Dr. Zara Chelik, our integrative health and wellness expert. And she's back with us today to talk about mindfulness. So, Dr. Zara, mindfulness is a huge topic.
Huge one at the moment globally, right? It's like a trending word, so we had the self-care, which I talked about, and now mindful is another one, buzzing one, which I love to touch on to them, bring some, put my input into it. And we all have different perceptions and different reflective awareness about mindfulness. So I love to educate our audience and give my perspective on that. So it's overly used, as we all know, but not many people actually know what it exactly means. In fact, I was just talking to one of the young university students, and she knew I was doing a podcast with somebody else, and then she asked me how it went, and it somehow led to this mindfulness. So I was so intrigued to find out really her perspective and what it meant for her in terms of being mindful. And I sort of got to understand and see what universities were teaching and where the students were at. So I thought, it'll be great to sort of bring a bit of light onto this topic. So mindfulness is when the mind is completely balanced. If you think of like an algebra maths equation going back to our early high school, sort of late primary school years, where this one side of the equation equals to the other side of the equation. And that's exactly is what mindfulness is in the mind. So we have two minds. We have the immanent mind, and then we have the transcendent mind. Immanent mind is the amygdala. Transcendent mind is the prefrontal cortex. So I know a bit of neuroscience there. That's okay, but I'm going to explain it more. So when we are in amygdala, we are in fight, flight, freeze. So when we are self-judging, self-critical, or judging other people, or we are living in the trauma, or we have a lot of neuroassociation pattern, we relate to things our past or event took place, we stay at the immanent mind. And we are going to be at fight, flight, freeze. So then that makes the mind unbalanced because we are spending a lot of time in the amygdala, which is the immanent mind. But I like people to be also aware of and become objective and authentic by becoming aware of the transcendent mind, which is the prefrontal cortex, which is the executive center of the brain. At that brain, when we are at prefrontal cortex, when we are objective, we become authentic, we become creative. So when we are critical or we have body dysmorphic things, which we talked about as well previously, we spend more time focusing on what is not right, rather than seeing objectively what it is there for us, and it is happening for us, not to us. When we become aware of the other side of the equation, we go into that transcendent mind. We become objective. We have reflective awareness. So we are not self-critical. We are seeing things as they are. We're not resenting others. We are not infatuated with other people. We're not admiring them and putting them up here, because we're becoming reflective, and we're aware of the things that we see in them is also in us. So that will make us more objective, and we have the reflective awareness. I hope I'm not confusing here. I know I'm talking neuroscience, I've got a lot of things going on, but I'm going to explain it more.
So is this with things like, we talked earlier about overthinking, how that can take over?
Correct. So even overthinking, when we're overthinking, overjudging, criticizing, I'm not good enough, I'm not fit enough, I'm not beautiful enough, I'm not rich enough, I don't have the education, the whole, trying to, having the fear, the mind becomes imbalanced. So you're not mindful, you're half mindful, because you're focusing on one side of things and you're not seeing the other things, or you're focusing on one side of of you, and you're not aware of the other side of you. You're with me there. So that creates the imbalance. Or when we're resenting people, we see all the bad things that they did and how it disadvantaged us, right? But we don't get to see how that person also served us. The minute we see the other side of how that person served us, in the case of resentment, that makes us mindful. In the case of infatuation, when you're admiring somebody, for example, oh, they're so beautiful, they're so fit, they're gorgeous, we have this fantasy, right? That makes us one-sided, so that's half mindful. But the minute we also see it in our form, hey, I've also been fit, I'm also fit in this form, I'm intelligent also, or I'm also wealthy, and I've actually displayed and demonstrated in these sort of situations, and I see it as in me, it's part of me, that makes you again mindful. So the equation is balanced. And that's why I say think of it as a mathematical model, bit of like an algebra. This side of the equation equals this side of the equation. So when you are aware of only one side of events, you are half mindful. But when you're aware of both sides, you are mindful completely. And that's the thing that actually, when I talk to people, they meditate, try to be mindful, and it's overly used, right? We try to become mindful, and we're meditating, and we're investing in ourselves, and it's nice bit of cultural movement globally. People are trying to be mindful, have mindful eating, mindful thinking, mindful language. But if you're not mindful of what's happening within you, then you're not going to be fully mindful. You're half mindful.
So it's like that confusion then that takes over when the confusion, we're not balanced in the mind.
Yeah, so when you're confused, you're not balanced in the mind. So when you're fully aware and you've got reflective awareness and you become objective, then you're authentic yourself. You see, whatever is in other people is actually in you. There's nothing missing, and there's that equity and balance and equanimity within you. Then you are fully mindful, and the biochemistry of the mind is balanced. Because the minute that you're actually critical, the biochemistry shifts. The biochemistry of the mind shifts. The biochemistry of the brain shifts, the biochemistry of the body shifts. But when we are mindful, there's a balance, and that balance within is called equanimity. That's what, homeostasis basically.
What would be your top hint for our viewers, something they can take away today just for themselves to?
So become aware of the language that you're using, and see if you are present with yourself. But if you're even struggling with that, see what your mind is doing. Are you focusing only one thing? Are you, for example, judging or criticizing yourself about maybe an event happened during the day? If you are, catch yourself, stop and pause, and see what it is actually there, and find the opposite of it. So, for example, if you're resenting somebody, say, well, okay, what am I resenting them? What am I exactly resenting them for? And then see the benefit of that inaction, or the trait that you're resenting the individual for, and see how that is also serving you, the benefit of that to you. So then you balance that out. If it is an infatuation, you admire somebody, find it in your own form. Then once you find that, that's also balanced. If you're judging somebody else, same thing applies. What are you exactly judging them for? How is it a disadvantage to you when you're judging them? Not just the advantage. So then you balance it there too. So try to find balance, but become aware of your language pattern and the language and the words that you use, and see if you can get on to asking yourself the questions to balance the mind.
Well, thank you very much for that. And for more information on Dr. Zara Celik and mindfulness, then please go to her webpage on our website healthwellbeingandlifestyle.com.au. And now for break. We'll see you after the break. Welcome back, and now we have Pauline Rooney back with us, our Yoga for Wellbeing instructor and author. And now we're talking about devices in work, computers, and in school, and in the environment, really. Welcome back, Pauline.
Thanks, Linda. It's lovely to be back.
And today the topic is devices in our workplace or school, in our environment, really, mobile phones. So how much time do we spend on these devices?
Linda, I personally was shocked when I was doing the research. On average, we spend approximately 17 years of our life on smartphones and other devices. And I found that truly amazing. I have read other reports that state that that 17 hours is only on smartphones, and other devices are added on top of that. No matter which way you look at it, Linda, we're on our devices a lot.
And how can we incorporate yoga into this? How does yoga help us to look at this differently?
Well, the blessings of yoga is we can do yoga everywhere and anywhere, and it is for everyone and everybody. So if you're at work or even at school, the same things apply. We tend to sit very set and lean in, and there's the yoga poses of sitting back, lifting, doing a spinal twist. We can do all of those, run our legs up and down, cross the arms over like this, all of these things. If you are at work, you can still read your emails while you're doing these. So there's no downtime with the yoga in the office, in the gaming room, schoolroom, or when we're having fun on the computer for relaxation. So there's just so many things. I could be here all day telling you about them. But the major ones is sitting up, because most people slouch when they're on a device. So it's sitting up, keeping the shoulders back and down. But also, Linda, I don't think many people think about their eyes, right? So with the yoga, we have what we call palming. It's I think we do it naturally. I really do. But we rub our hands and get them lovely and warm. We close our eyes and gently cup our eyes over, and we breathe in the warm. It is truly amazing how that, I'm sure you've experienced it too, that tired, glassy feeling, it takes all that away. And it gives us a cleaner look at our screens. So we see things more clearly. We're not misinterpreting what is being on the screen. We can read more and for longer. If you take short breaks, you can stay on your device for longer periods of time. It's very important. The other thing that yoga puts a great deal of attention to is what we call Hasta yoga. And that's the yoga of hands. I don't think a lot of people have heard about it. It's absolutely amazing. So if you incorporate Hasta yoga into the work, play or school time, you'll be amazed for the carpal tunnel, for the arm strength, all fingers, flexibility, mobility, and it's as simple as bringing each finger in turn together and then going back. You do that on both hands. This one may look a little bit tricky, but it's extraordinarily good because it works through the carpal tunnels. We have to close down our tall man. Then we're going to, if you lock those down, it's a lot easier. You're going to face your left hand up and your right hand down, so your index and ring go together and your index and ring go together. Now we take the pressure off the tall man and just sit like that and work those fingers back. You will be amazed how much work that is up the wrists. And then we release them and turn them over. It's fantastic, absolutely. And then we always circle through our wrists, because even with the trackball, we're fairly sedentary. We're working 3 or 4 of the movements. Sliding, same thing. So we need to keep the mobility in our wrists. So just folded leaf, see your fingernails, circle around, back. They are fantastic. The other one I really do like, and I can read my emails, pointer and thumb, and then if you can, look, this is going to look different from every person. Step the fingers up and over, because it pulls the fingers back in an opposite direction. So it's a bit tricky looking, really. And then we can let those down and then give the fingers a little bit of a wiggle.
Fantastic, fantastic.
They're so simple and so easy. Another one that I like to do is sit and ripple my arms, just like that, because our hands are up here. We want the circulation going through. We want to drop the shoulders and give that weight. Even those, they're great. Just to ripple through, get the movement going, fantastic. The other one that helps the cardiovasculars is running on the spot. And that is as simple as sitting straight and running up and down like that. Again, you can be reading something, you can be on the phone, you can be gaming, you can be waiting while the other students are having their say. So all of this, it doesn't matter what age, what circumstance, if you're on a device, you can be doing yoga. It's that simple.
And what about your best advice for as the last takeaway today for our viewers?
Oh, look, there's so many, Linda. I could go on and on. But honestly, if you're stretching up, so just raise the arms, you might get your arms up to here, or you can get them right up. That's okay. The other one I think is very important is the shoulder roll, because we're sitting over way too much. And when we sit over, we squash our tummy a little bit too much, so we need to sit up. And when you're rolling your shoulders, it's very difficult to roll from down here. So we need to sit up and give that lovely roll, but keep those arms in. I really think between that and the palming for the eyes would be my 2 extremely good tips.
Fantastic, thank you so much. And if you'd like to know more about Pauline Rooney and yoga for wellbeing, specifically in this case about devices, then please go to her webpage on our website, healthwellbeingandlifestyle.com.au, and we will say goodbye now till next week.